Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Contour community meeting. Today is November 10th, 2020, and we got a bunch of things that we're going to talk about. A bunch of news, first of all.
Yeah, so Contour 1.10 is out. There's a couple big features here, so shout out to Steve Chris. He pushed all the buttons and made all the robots do their thing to get this one up and running. So the couple big things here are the XDS v3 support. So this is the so Envoy's deprecating the v2 resource version, which we've been using up until now. So come next year, Q1 of 2021, they're going to completely remove that out of Envoy. So this is a good stepping stone release to go from version 2 to version 3. And that's because in this version, Contour actually will serve both endpoints at the same time. So this is helpful. And there's a blog post, there's an upgrade guide, and then there's release notes. So we've triplicated the information to make this super clear. So the idea is that if you have to do an in-place upgrade, then you can apply your YAMLs, and while the upgrade's happening, while your envoys are rolling, the old ones will still talk version 2, which Contour will still send configuration changes to, and the new ones that spin up will now talk v3, and then they'll get their configuration changes as well. So then once those are all rolled, you'll be all v3, and then the next release will remove v2, and you'll be up and running, no problem. If your release upgrade strategy is to delete and create a new one, then this doesn't apply to you. So you can just do your thing as normal. Anyone have any questions on this v2, v3 stuff? Hopefully it's not that crazy. I mean, you shouldn't see any difference in terms of how things work, because it's just the behind the scenes kind of thing. I know the Knative folks report a couple issues. I'm not sure if they are real issues or just environment kind of things.
So will the upgrade take care of any Envoy updates as well?
Yeah, so v3 went to 1.16, Envoy 1.16, which is latest, like we typically always do. But v3 has been in Envoy for, I forget what released, 1.8 or something, 1.9. It's been there for a while, I think since the beginning of this year, 2020. So there shouldn't be an issue in terms of what version you're on. But yeah, we've upgraded to 1.16 as the default. So, and there's one flag, I guess, in there. There's, I think can you go to the upgrade guide there, Jonas, right in the middle? There's a link. Yeah, or I guess this will work too. Yeah. If you scroll down to a little bit more, or wait, we put it in here, didn't we? Maybe go up. Where's go to the XDS migration guide. Sorry, should be right. Yeah. There's a flag now on the init container. So the init container that we use spins out the bootstrap config. Yeah, and now there's this XDS resource version. It's a new flag on the init container, or on the Contour bootstrap command. And you can pass it v2 or v3. So you can tell it when you want to go from v2 to v3. So by default, it's v2, and then you can run this, and it'll upgrade the bootstrap to use the v3 resource type. And that's how it actually rolls out.
Awesome, and that's a required flag from now on? You're always specifying which XDS version?
It's only required, and I guess in this release, because by default, we'll still serve v2 to not break anything backwards. But going forward in 1.11, the only parameter that's valid will be v3. So, and the default will become v3. So if you don't ever apply it, I guess it's required for this one to go to v3, but the next version, it won't be required. To make that super confusing. Does that make sense? Because now you can switch between 2 and 3 using this flag, and then going in the next release, it'll only be v3. So the flag will become redundant, I guess, until v4 comes out, and then we'll have the same kind of idea to go to v4.
Do y'all ever, are y'all going to deprecate v2 or just kind of take it out, or will it always be there?
No, we're going to rip it out, because come January, Envoy itself will rip out all the support for it.
Okay.
So we're just going to literally just remove it from Contour, and v3 will become the default.
Awesome.
Yeah. So this guide here should help explain a little bit more. The release notes are in here, as well as the blog post, which outlines everything else. I think in the blog post, can you go back to the blog post, Jonas, that first link? Yeah. We have custom logging now, so you can actually define custom fields now, which get outputted. And we have multi-arch images, so if you want to run this on ARM, so like the Graviton machines or your Raspberry Pis. You can run now Contour and Envoy because they now both are supported on ARM architectures. Those are the big things, I think, short of just bug fixes and other things. But that's it. Yeah, and if you've gone a little bit more, Jonas, there's a big shout out to all the folks who have contributed things. So thank you all very much for all of your contributions.
Awesome. You want to dive into the discussion topics?
Yeah. Danny, I think last week you asked these two things. I just pushed them forward to the next one. But you asked about any Contour content for KubeCon. So I added all of the things. So if you go to the schedule for KubeCon, NativeCon, and search for Contour, you can see these events. I think there's actually one more in a lightning talk. They're going to outline all of the new CNCF projects. So there's one from VMware. It's a sponsored session about how to get up and running. So you have to get your cluster running. And I think Contour is mentioned in here as well. But this one's neat, how to use Sonobui and Valero and Octant and those sort of things. I think the second one is my talk on how to build your own Envoy control plane. So this is going to walk through the basics of Envoy, kind of the XDS APIs, and then we go build a quick little XDS control plane for Envoy with that talk. And then this one is the group talk here. This is just the hello world of Contour again, what Contour is. I think we demo external auth, which I think we did before already. So that's that one. And then the last two bits are just the office hours for Meet the Maintainers. So folks can come and ask questions and chat during the week of KubeCon if they want. And there's 2 days for that, yeah.
So for KubeCon next week, I think we'll most likely skip the community meeting because we do have these and 3 other sessions. So I know everyone within the team will be focused on this.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, well, good luck with the sessions. That's great to see all that content up there.
The only bonus of remote conferences is that all the talks are recorded already. So the stress of that is done.
Nice.
Which is cool. So
you still need to be at the talk, right? Because you'll monitor the Q&A, the chat, and stuff like that.
Yeah, they asked if you want to do live Q&A at the end. So I think we'll still be on live to answer questions and stuff. Mm-hmm. But at least the stress of actually doing the talk and the demo and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
is good. Yeah,
stressful part's over.
Yeah, makes the live demo easier because when it breaks, you just stop and re-record it. Which mine did a few times. So, but no, I do miss seeing everyone. That's the only downside of all this. So,
isn't that kind of cheating, Steve?
It is.
I mean, isn't your demo supposed to break at least once whenever you're present?
I didn't edit mine though. I've heard of people who went and actually edit it in video software to stitch it all together to all the good parts. But mine actually I went start to end. So you'll see me mess up and mess up things, but still, yeah, it all works at least. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Makes it look more believable.
Yeah. It's not all smoke and mirrors, but yeah, it is real. It is more fun to do it live though. Yeah. So that's all the talks that I know about. I'm not sure if Contour will show up anywhere else. Sometimes it does in different talks, which is cool. So we'll have to see. Maybe that'll be our Easter egg game. Someone can find another spot where it showed up. You can win a prize.
Then we had another question here from danehans. Any feedback from EnvoyCon attendees? You mean for EnvoyCon in general, or?
Well, I know EnvoyCon took place, I think it was, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I was just curious, anyone that may have attended, I thought it'd be an opportunity to just get some feedback from attendees.
I can jump in here. I think from my perspective, one of the big takeaways, and I don't think it was necessarily news, but it was reiterated, is that Envoy is. So originally they were sort of planning to release a new major version of the API every year and go through a deprecation process for the old one. And they've sort of backed off that based on feedback from users and maintainers of control planes like Contour. just because of the amount of churn it creates. So they're going to be moving to more of a kind of field by field versioning strategy where they have a whole kind of deprecation process for individual fields if they need to move things around. But they won't be revving major versions every year. And so hopefully that means that it's a little easier for us to manage changes in the API because we won't have to sort of rewrite all our code once a year to update to the new versions. But you know, I think we'll also have to just wait and see what it looks like with the revised strategy.
Yeah, but expect since Envoy is a CNCF project that it would follow the deprecation policies of Kubernetes.
Yeah,
Yeah, the CNCF doesn't dictate that though. That's up to project by project.
Okay.
Yeah, it might look a little weird, but it's up to every project to have their own deprecation policy and things like that.
I guess that does make sense. I mean, even though Kubernetes is the behemoth project of CNCF, it's not CNCF itself.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of projects, of course, follow Kubernetes, but they don't require that.
I know I went to EnvoyCon too, and it was just neat to see all the, it's always fun to see the people using Envoy out in the wild. So I know there were talks on the local rate limiter, I think came up. I know, Steve, you're interested in that because we're looking at adding rate limiting, which actually we should talk about as well. And then there was, what was the other one? Rate limiting and I think auth. It was auth, I think, from someone. They did an external auth story. I think it was from the folks at Stripe or something. So it's good to see that as well because we just added auth to Contour. So yeah, but other than that, wasn't a whole lot that it was a good conference though. I mean, it was good to see all that kind of stuff and break us out of the Contour world into the generic Envoy world.
there was another talk that the Lyft folks did about kind of how they go about validating their configs. And I learned about a couple tools that I hadn't been aware of that I guess Envoy publishes for doing some validation of configs, and you can sort of like unit test your route configurations without actually running an Envoy, basically just to observe the routing decisions that the routing engine in Envoy makes. So I kind of have a mental to do to go look at those a little bit more and see if there's anything that we could take away from that to be able to validate configs before sending them to Envoy. But yeah, so I thought that was interesting.
And then I know this one, I just put it in chat, was the XDS Relay project, which I'd heard about but didn't know much about. But that's kind of a neat project where it's a relay in between your management server and Envoy, so it can do like caching and I think there's an opportunity there as well to do this conversion bit we just did in Contour. So going from version 1 to version 2. I think this is still new, but it's from the folks at Lyft as well. But it looks interesting that it could be, if you had a large number of envoys or you had some other way to have something in the middle to do this caching layer, that sort of stuff. So it'll be neat. I think also it'll help you get to incremental XDS, would be another thing of a benefit. So there's two types of XDS. There's state of the world, which is what Contour does today, which means when you say, hey, like Contour, or I'm sorry, hey Envoy, here's all my clusters, and say there's 100 of them, each update, it'll pass 100 clusters down to Envoy and say, hey, here's the state of the world. If you delete a cluster, then we just pass 99, and Envoy says, hey, one's missing, that one must have gotten deleted. And same thing, if you add one, you would have 101 clusters. But then there's the incremental version, which is out as well, which, as you might expect, has just the changes. So it just changes the one cluster that changed, whether it was added or deleted or updated. I think there was talk of having this project here implement that API. So like Contour could talk, in theory, can talk state of the world to the XDS Relay pod, and then XDS Relay could talk incremental to the Envoy and give you performance improvements that way. So it looks interesting to me.
Awesome. Does anyone else have anything to add to the discussion topics today? I do have one topic, but I want to wait if someone else has anything.
I guess I could just really quickly in the chat window, just want to let everyone know the contour operator, keep working towards V1 Alpha 1 release of the operator, keep plucking away at these issues. And here's another link for pull requests. I appreciate everyone and their reviews. The big one is number 91 for adding status support. And Steve, Chris, again, thank you for the reviews. And I did recently just push a new commit to address your latest feedback. So just wanted to let everyone know we're still tracking on a V1 Alpha 1 release of the operator. And I think PR 91 is kind of one of those big PRs, one of the last big kind of functionality PRs left for V1 Alpha 1. And so, yeah, things are coming along well.
For this, I saw the milestone is for December 4th. I would love to have a blog post covering this as well. When this gets to that state, would that be possible?
Yeah, and as you can see, like from some of, I forget which one, add operator docs, issue number 84 there. So far, the plan is that, the operator is just kind of synchronized with Contour in the releases. And so I don't know if similar to what was done here for 110 with that blog post, is it just a single blog post and we've got, like a big section in that blog post that says, introduction to the Contour operator. That's maybe what I was thinking.
Yeah, something like that I think would be great.
Do you mind, since you're there, do you mind maybe just making a comment right there, just saying, please also include in blog post. Thanks, Jonas.
There we go. This is great. Thank you for that. So I wanted to ask you all on the call as well. So we've been having these Contour office hours. Do you think they're worthwhile? They go on for quite some time, and there's a lot of discussion in there. Is the time working out for everyone? Is it a good use of everyone's time?
Yeah, I like having them. It's the cadence is twice a month, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think the cadence is on point, and the times work. I'm trying to think that maybe at one point there was a conflict with the service APIs meeting, but yeah, I like having the office hours. And I forget offhand, is the office hours, is it 1 hour or is it 2 hours?
We've scheduled for 2 because we thought maybe we'll use it up, and I saw that was actually what happened last week, I believe. We went on for 2 hours, which is great if you have a lot of questions and a lot of discussion. I think it's great to have that scheduled. Another variant could be that we run once a week and just do it for 1 hour or something else. But I was wondering if the cadence and everything that we run right now, if that's working out.
Yeah, I like the cadence. I think maybe one thing that we could keep an eye on is the amount of time, and so if we continue using the 2 hours, keep it there. But maybe that's an area that can be trimmed down to 1 hour. So yeah, I think for the time being, just kind of keep an eye on use of that time. But otherwise, I think it's been great.
Awesome. Any other comments regarding the office hours?
I like them too, Jonas. I think the 2 hours definitely gives us enough time to be able to talk about complex subjects, with the team and communicate. It's hard to, I also like these 30-minute, just quick, like, quick catch up on what's going on. So no, I think it's great. I think you guys are awesome doing these. So thank you.
Only thing I'll throw out is it might be nice if we could have an office hours where the Australian folks could join, because I know it's Steve and I and all the folks who are in the US who tend to attend, but it'd be nice to have Nick and James, I guess, have a chance to discuss things as well. So I don't know if we want to think about staggering them, or maybe just having like one a month for the Australian folks, or I don't know. I mean, if they're in the morning in Australia, then it's easy enough for me to join because it's afternoon for me.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm definitely a big +1 to stagger. Once a month, it's East Coast friendly time, and the other meeting is Australia friendly, because it would be nice to have James and Nick involved at least once a month.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, we discussed this. I think it was in August, before we, even earlier. Anyway, it was before we started the office hours. We said we're going to run them for the Americas for a little while, and then we'll look and see if we can add in Australia. And I think it would be good to do that. I know with the holidays and everything coming up, we'll see how many office hours we still have left. But then, yeah, starting in January, I think that would be a good idea to do. I'll bring it up with the team later tonight as well when we have our call. Oh yeah, so one other thing, Chad, I know you've asked for, hey, where are the recordings? Where is everything when it comes to the community meetings and everything? We're trying to get it automated. So we're setting up automated recordings. So they should be moving over to YouTube automatically as soon as everything gets approved. So we won't have the lag that we've had before. So hopefully that'll help out. We did have some issues with our account as well, so it didn't let us actually upload recordings longer than 15 minutes for a little while there. So we're moving over to the CNCF Contour YouTube channel. So I think that the website should be updated. If it's not, I'll get that done now. But yeah, I sent over the links last week.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
All right. Any last items that anyone wants to add in? All right, then we'll call it. Thank you everyone for joining today. Have a fantastic rest of the week, and see you all next week.
Thank you so much, Jonas. Thanks,
So
y'all.
long.